Welcome to, I don't even know what I'm saying. We're just gonna make something up. No.
The
had a
show.
phrase. Yeah, we can't call it that. I'm pretty sure that Apple would have an issue with that. But we can call this Snapback. The Snapback podcast, where you snap and we snap back. For those who do not know, my name is Guest, also known as ItsGuestGaming, and I am thrilled to be working with this crazy partner in crime, Camden, for this podcast series. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. How you doing, my brother?
I am good. I'm good. Assuming that my computer survives the recording, I'll be absolutely thrilled, because this is a pilot, and if things break, things break. But I'm pretty sure we just, look, I made logos. I'm not calling this the shit show. We're just going to call this a Marvel Snap podcast, where we're going to be open and honest, and we're going to say the things that other people aren't saying. We're not going to fluff things that are going on in Marvel Snap. We're going to talk the reality. If it's good, I'm going to tell you that it's good. If it's bad, it's going to be a longer podcast, because typically that's
it's shit.
Yeah, it's a lot to unpack. It's a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you coming on board and joining us with this, because I've wanted to get back into the podcast world for a little while now. And after having a couple of catch-up calls, just in general, switching from the other game into Marvel Snap and then picking your brain, and just, I realized this made a hell of a lot of sense. So we're here now. We're going to be bringing Marvel Snap to you in a different way. How often? I have no idea. I think it just depends on if there's things to talk about. But at the same time, yeah, I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot to unpack. But we're behind, so we're just going to, just keep moving forward, and we'll pretend that certain things aren't bothering us, like Kang, because that's fluff, right? That's magical. It's a pilot episode. We're going to keep it to the one topic. Let's just talk about the big topic before we...
The big body.
Yeah, just before we dive into chaos next week. But yeah, Kang the Conqueror. You know what? You want to start this one?
Sure. Yeah, I would absolutely freaking love to start this. Okay, so Kang. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you a conqueror of epic proportions that can not only act as a daredevil on steroids, but also negate any type of cube activity. What the hell do I mean by cube activity? And why am I so just tanked over it? Okay. For all of you that actually love going up to infinite and doing your thing and flexing on the rest of us that don't make it or that do, if I could tell you that there's a card that makes it easier for you to actually get up there, Kang would be that card. What do I mean? So on turn 5 or turn 6, if you snap, I snap back. That's what this is all about. And you throw down that card. You already hit the button, you hit the Q button, you snapped, you're all happy, and then all of a sudden you see this guy's about to destroy you. Well, that snap is no longer relevant, because that snap is also taken back. Think about the implications. Guest, I want to hear your thoughts on exactly that. If you can snap and have it not mean anything as a bluff, just to get your opponent to either retreat or for you to redo the turn or you retreat. I mean, you have the power. What do you think about that?
Honestly, I'm not completely against it in the idea that Kang's a good card and he has a unique mechanic and he's going to be fun and, like you said, that daredevil side of things. However, he's really fucked right now because let's be honest, like the fact that you can find ways to loop him is problem number 1. Problem number 2.
I wasn't even going to talk about that.
Oh, it's not like it's a secret or anything. This is absolutely common knowledge at this point. You can loop Kang, and if you want to go ahead and do the Arnim Zola, get 2 of them, and then 1 right back, and then you're never going to lose a battle ever. Look, if that's the direction you want to play this game, this isn't the game for you. Because I've been in toxic game environments, and I don't think this is anywhere close to as bad as those were. But what I'll confidently say is that for this to be, in my opinion, one of the premier toxic mechanics in its current form. I think that it won't be a problem for the next 2 months, but as people start to collect their tokens and they decide if they want to get Kang, and look, everybody should be prioritizing Thanos. If you're looking at your big bads, you should be prioritizing Thanos, then moving on to Kang. Because I think Kang needs Galactus needs Kang, so just kind of it's like the null effect in that way. So I don't think out of the big bads, Galactus should over prioritize. But when you look at how Kang is as a big bad and how many different decks you can throw him in, and the fact that he's basically a mixture of Daredevil and America Chavez.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't even get into that.
Like
there's so many mechanics about Kang. It's just nuts. Oh my goodness.
Originally, I thought
that, please.
Oh no, like I need to breathe when it comes to Kang because he is one of those characters that look, I'm gonna get. Okay, I'm gonna get Kang. I'm gonna, test him out. I'm a little over halfway in my tokens at the time of the recording. I'm gonna get that. It's going to happen. However,
I already got him.
Yeah, I know you did. I mean, clearly, it's right on the damn screen here on the YouTube side. Like, I haven't even faced one yet, which is why I'm not worried about it for the community in the next 2 months, because people will slowly start to accumulate it. And yes, there are a ton of content creators that were pissed off about its release, which is its own topic. But knowing that won't be an issue in the future, I think it's time that we all move past how that all happened. However, when I do get him and I start testing him out and use the mechanics of being able to loop him, use the mechanics of being able to, just undo turns entirely, and the snap mechanic.
And the snaps, yep.
Yeah, and the snaps, which is absolutely huge because I don't know how they'd be able to program that to only have it be like a one-time thing, maybe. I don't know. But I worry that if they leave him in his current state, no matter what, we're screwed. Because you've got the current group of people who just unlocked him in his current state and spent 6,000 tokens. And then if you nerf or adjust a big bad, well, technically the pattern should be he gets even better because they did that to Thanos, even though that was a mistake. But I worry that with Kang, that if he stays as a big bad and they leave him the way that he is, I think that he's going to end up becoming one of the most toxic cards in the game because of math more than anything else and how it's going to fail Marvel Snap. So I throw the idea to you. What do we do if you're second dinner?
That's a good question. There are so many different variables that go into nerfing a card, balancing a card. I'm not a developer. That would be incredibly hard to do. But what I do know is game mechanics. And as much as it pains me to say this, it's going to pain me to say this. I think that they should leave Kang alone.
The hell is wrong with you?
Hold on. Minus the Arnim Zola loop. The reason why I'm going to be saying this, okay? And a lot of people say, like, for example, when you said Thanos didn't need that buff because you're now understanding how awesome he is in different game mechanics, i.e. With the go fetch yourself little doggy, that thing.
Cosmo?
That is, no, not
the
other dog.
Lockjaw.
That guy.
The goodest of boys.
Job.
Yes, gotcha.
The goodest of boys. Yes. There are so many different ways that Thanos is being used, and still, I feel like it's only scratching the surface. But that plus 11 to that extra oomph, he needs that in order to circumnavigate the Shuris as well. Okay, Shuri, we're not even going to get into. But hear me out on this Kang issue. Minus the infinite loop, Kang is a lot more cerebral of a card to play than people realize. Okay, for example, you kind of just touch the surface of the other mechanic everybody knows about America Chavez. America Chavez is going to allow you to draw your cards, giving you a plus 9% possibility to draw said card versus her. Okay, that's huge. That is awesome. Well, Kang is essentially going to be doing the same thing because he gets rid of himself. Now, of course, you're going to come into some problems with drawing Kane, as we all come into problems with drawing a certain card. That's why you build around multiple combos, and I want to emphasize that multiple combos within your build. I don't think Kang is really going to, snap, please. I don't think Kang is going to be as disruptful as people think. I think that a lot of people aren't even using Daredevil to the best of its ability, even though it only has one. It's incredibly important to use Daredevil so that you can see exactly what's going on with the opponent. You are instantly giving yourself a leg up. Kang does that, yes, but he's a zero cost. Daredevil actually has a cost or power, and it gets negated. So regardless of if you do use it with Mr. Negative, you're not going to get that +5 on the board. The card's gone, unless you're using, zero. But I mean, why would you do that in the first place?
But that's. You said it, and you contradicted yourself. You contradicted yourself.
I was just about to get into that, but I wanted
you
to interject, bro. I can't talk the whole time. I got so many strategies, bro. So many strategies.
If they want to see your strategies, they go watch you on stream. They go watch your videos. If they want to actually figure out the venting side of things, listen. He doesn't need to have a cost. He could have 45 billion D points as a power, and it doesn't matter because he leaves. It's an on reveal. So yes, there's that little tiny chance, but
that's another reason why this is not for everybody to be up in arms about. Guys, there are so many freaking counters to so many different cards that you think are absolutely crazy. Shuri, bring yourself a Shang-Chi. It's that simple. Or bring yourself a Cosmo. I mean, they're in everybody's decks. Everybody uses Arrow. Arrow's one of the most powerful cards in the game, right?
Yes.
Well, there's different ways to negate her too. You can think outside the box. I mean, there are so many different strategies. It's like, it's hard for me to hear this.
Okay, so then going cerebral on it. Okay, so take that into effect. Okay. Digest the idea that Kang presents a different style of play. He has a different play mechanic because now your snapping becomes almost irrelevant, right? He becomes the kind of person where you can willy-nilly snap and then let that happen and then decide, you know what? I'm going to regress that cube I was potentially going to give you, even if I retreated on the next turn. So that cube mechanic, I think, ends up being absolutely insane. I do think there is a solve to Kang. I do. And I think that it's by making him a 6-cost card. By having him available on turn 5, you lose that guaranteed going from turn 5 to 6 extra increase in potentially previously snapped cubes. If you make him a 6-cost, then you have to play into that. You have to play into it like you would a Galactus, where you need those other mandatory mechanics like Electro, Wave, Psylocke, yada, 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 right? You need those.
I'm snapping over here.
You need those, which is what makes Galactus a big bad, because then if you lay that out, not only you're giving just a little tiny bit of information to the opponent, but not enough still. Yet, if you have to play it on turn 6, then everything is kind of fair, hunky-dory square, while still giving more of an advantage strategically to the person who played it. I think if you make him a 6-cost card, just that one piece alone, it balances him, it doesn't regress what he brings to the party, still qualifies as a big bad that doesn't ever have to leave Series 5, and that's absolutely fine. If you invest into him, hey, just like Galactus, you invest into him, it's worth it. It's a whole new deck style, whole new strategy style to throw into your collection. would you be content with making him a 6 cost and change nothing else about his mechanics?
Since there is already a precedent in this game for changing a cost association for a card that was originally at a pull 5 in the form of Abu Zabu, I would tell you, yes, that is an absolute perfect. That's a perfect scenario. In my opinion, I think that it changes him quite a bit. He's not nearly as ominous and daunting of a card, to say the least. I think that, I mean, that's an easy fix. I think that's a win. I think that's a dub.
Yeah. I mean, that to me is that's my variation of it. You know, let's not talk about the 6K it costs to get him. Let's just talk about when you do have him, correction, I should say, if you do have and you have spent the time and the resources, whether it's now or whether it's in months from now, and you decide to, you know what, I'm going to go get Kang now. Wait for him to pop up in the shop. I think he's a really fun, unique mechanic. He's cool. He's really cool. Great animation on top of that. And he does present new strategy pieces that we've kind of seen before, but now they're presented in a slightly different way. I think that. So, what?
In thinking about creating it a 6 cost card.
Yes. I know. I thought you were thinking, and I'm worried about that, but like.
You know, when Cam's thinking, there's always going to be some shit to pop off. All right, so I'm going to play devil's advocate as usual. That's the whole reason why you bring me on here, is because I will take the other stance and possibly debate it. Who knows? Welcome. Look, your on reveal cards needed a slight buff. Kang does that, and it does that very well. And a lot of people aren't necessarily realizing the significance of that at a 5 cost. If you bring it to a 6 cost, that negates a lot of that. Okay? It doesn't negate all of it, just a lot of it, because you have to ramp up a little bit better and you have to maneuver differently than the way that you are. So that might turn off a lot of other players that got Kang, and you will probably be hearing some distress about it. Some people, you know, really upset.
I'm going to disagree, because if I have...
Please do.
Yeah, because if I've got the choice of a 350-pound linebacker or a 250-pound linebacker, as long as they can take the person down and still do the job, I don't care what they weigh. So whether he's a 5-cost card or he's a 6-cost card, he still undoes the entire move. And if there's any move to undo, it shouldn't be a move right before the automatic doubling of cubes. It should be happening on that final turn. Because that mechanic, if you play it on turn 6, like, think about it, like, you have Kang. I challenge you, go outside of this and only play Kang with a 6 cost in mind. Play him on turn 6.
I already have. I'm going to play devil's advocate to what you're just about to say.
So by playing him as a turn 6 cost in mind, to undo that mechanic, undo that snap in particular, I think that you've got a lot of power still there with him. It's not too much of a regression to reduce him in his overall powerfulness by removing that one possible turn that he organically could be played on by leaving him at a 5-cost card. I think he still brings what he needs to bring at turn 6, and he still has all the other mechanics that you can do to bring him out early. Like I said earlier with, you know, Electro and friends, we'll call them, right? The whole play it early group. I think there's enough out there that if they did that, you'd still probably play him with the same mechanic and mindset, but you wouldn't, I don't think you would feel it as much, but it balances him enough in my mind. Go ahead, be devil's advocate, go.
Should I throw out I'm just going to do it. You know what? Turn the lights on. We're going for it. Okay.
All right. You had better lighting this whole time and you just turn it on now?
I was trying to be, mysterious. Hello, my name is Camden.
You can't be
Hey.
mysterious with ivy plants hanging behind you.
Hey, look, hey, it's my
No.
surroundings, With
Go
ivy
on.
plants,
Go on.
yeah. All right,
Go
so
on.
think about this. I don't think a lot of people have. Well, maybe they have. Maybe I have not been on YouTube for the last couple of days. Sue me now. Think about it this way. You have two cards that essentially overlap. You have Daredevil and you have the new Kang the Conqueror. If I put Daredevil and Kang in the same deck, allowing me more information, allowing me to not only know what they do on turn 5, but also know what they do on turn 6, have a snap mechanic that goes well with that. I think that is an incredibly devastating combo that is so hard to circumnavigate that there will be an actual problem. It will be, and everybody's on reveal decks. Arrow will be that much more powerful. Cosmo will be that much more prevalent. And I think that this is going to stir up a lot more shiitake mushrooms than is necessary. And by putting that Kang at a 6 cost, it entices the players to do exactly that because it narrows their scope of other possibilities. Now, I think that's a double-edged sword. Take it how you want, because if you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And I just gave people the sauce, but
it's not sauce because people can do that now. They can opt to do that right now if it really makes if it makes you happy and you want to have all of that available. Go for it. Have fun. Be free. To each their own. But at the same time, I feel like what Kang does is so unique and so powerful that, yes, he does justify the quality of saying he's a big bad. That, to me, is completely obvious. But I just worry that the flexibility of playing him on 2 turns, whether you use Daredevil or not, I think that flexibility is just a little too strong. That's just me personally. But I'm curious what people in the community also think about this. So whether you're listening over on Anchor or any of the future platforms, if you're listening to this as a playback, or if you're on YouTube, let us also know down in the comment section of wherever the hell you find this. What do you think of Kang? What would you do? Copyright. What would you do? Right? So I know I don't own that, but like, what would you do? If you had Kang and you realized how busted he was, would you fix him? How would you fix him? Or would you fix him at all? I'm glad that we don't agree on this because that's just way more fun to talk about. But at the same time, it is a concern because we both can acknowledge that Kang is a conqueror. He can take over decks entirely if fully understood. I don't think the majority of this community understands that yet. Thanos is case in proof of that. Just wait till people fully digest what Kang brings to the party, because I think it's going to evolve into an issue over time. But that's just what I think. Camden, this was supposed to be just a pilot. I don't even know how long of an issue this was. No, shut up. No, I have the recording button, so no, you get nothing. You get nothing. That'll be next week.
No.
So. I'm leaving. Yeah, I'm leaving my co-host on a cliffhanger. I can mute you. I have the power. Okay? I will Kang you. I will delete this whole section out of the podcast.
Don't make me snap.
This is going to be a lot of fun.
Look, stay tuned. This is the pilot. I have so much more to say about this. Not only do I have so much more to say about just this, but there are so many other cards that are cracked out there that I have a feeling we're going to be seeing in the meta. If you did not know, I am at a 7K score or whatever. I have all the cards. Yes, I am not free to play, blah, 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 blah. So if you have any questions, concerns, hop into the comments section. Let us know. We would love to hear your feedback. I am Camden, and welcome to the podcast. Snap back, baby.
Yeah, you got to figure out an outro. But for those who do not know, and you just figured out and found us organically, it happens. And as I say, because I actually have a catchphrase that has stuck and is fine. For those who do not know, my name is Guest, also known as ItsGuestGaming. You can find me and my cohort Camden on all of the different platforms. We are both live streamers over on Twitch. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Discord. Find us on YouTube, or you can find us right here on the Snapback podcast. So thank you so much for hanging out with us today. You're going to snap, and we're going to snap back. Y'all have a wonderful afternoon, and we'll see you for true episode 1. I have no idea when. We'll figure it out, man.
We'll see you soon. Sure. See you soon. Good to know. We here, baby. And hey, by the way, no, I'm not gonna say that. Stay tuned. Stay tuned.